Hello, everyone. I'm Viti Bindra, IIT Delhi alumnus and the President Emeritus PanIIT USA. I'm delighted to present Ashneer Grover joining us from New Delhi for an exclusive interview, which is part of the PanIIT USA virtual webinar series. Welcome, Ashneer.
Thanks, Viti. Very honored to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to let the audience know, the PanIIT USA is an umbrella organization representing an alumni network of the most recognizable symbol of India's intellectual excellence, achievement, and leadership, the Indian Institute of Technology IIT system. The IIT alumni around the world have created sustained value for organizations and communities with their thought leadership, business acumen, and sense of social responsibility, all of which are the principles of the IIT brand of education. Ashneer is the founder and MD of BharatPay, fintech startup valued at 2.8 billion US dollars. In the last 3 years, BharatPay has emerged as the driving force for the fintech industry in India, with a network of over 7.5 million merchants spread across 140 plus cities. BharatPay has also frayed in the consumer fintech space with launch of the first of its kind consumer investment plus lending product called 12% Club. It forayed into the buy now, pay later segment with the launch of post-pay in October 2021. Well, Ashneer started his career with the Kodak Investment Bank, where he led many M&A and corporate finance deals for the good 7 years. He then worked with American Express as Director of Corporate Development, where he led fintech coverage for MX in India. He served as a CFO of Gruffer, now Blinkit, which he built the company and raised $117 million. After Gruffer's, he joined PC Jewelers as head of the new business, the second largest jewelry retailer in India, where he led digital transformation and strategy. Interestingly, Ashneer is also the first shark in the Shark Tank India, a show that is aimed to support and drive the entrepreneurial wave in the country. Ashneer holds a BTech in Civil Engineering from my alma mater, IIT Delhi, MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and he's part of the 2000 and 2005 batch of IIT Delhi folks, same as Flipkart's Sachin and Binny Bansal, Groofer's Arbinder Dhinsa, and Zomato Dipinder Goel. Once again, Ashneer, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Viti.
So Ashneer, could you please share your journey from IIT Delhi to BharatPay? So in what way did your time at IIT Delhi prepare you for your roles in the startup or the corporate world, and how the broader IIT network helped you in your career?
Yeah, I think the journey, most of it you have captured, right? Where all have I worked before, right? So in that sense, it's already captured by you. But I think what happens is with IIT education is you are prepared for very stiff competition from the very beginning, right? So, getting into IIT by giving the JEE exam is a very thin success probability event, right? And therefore you have to improve your chances. You have to work really hard to get in, right? And once you get in, you are competing with or cohabiting with people who are very driven, right? And for most of us, in fact, I think it's a fact, education was the passport to success and wealth, right? That's been true. If you look at IITs, most of the people who come from either a middle class background or a lower middle class background, right? In terms of the family's background. So for all of us, study hard, make it big is the only way to succeed in life, right? And I exactly did that. So I think when you look back, and when I look back, I feel surprised, right, that so many startup founders in India are my batchmates, and especially from that 2000 to 2004, 2005 batch. But I think there's always this trend, right? There'll be certain batches before where a lot of people went into FMCG, right? There'll be certain batches when consulting was the hot thing. There were certain batches when investment banking was the thing, or when people wanted to go to B school. So I think, the market goes through waves. And I think, the batch that when we came out in 2004, everyone went in with the dream of a US techie job, but that dream was gone by 2002, right? So everyone had to, who was smart
Yeah.
enough, knew they were not going to go to the US. So they had to make it big in India somehow, right? And I think all of us took very, very different paths, but essentially there was this concept of entrepreneurship somewhere, which got sewn into all of us during that batch, right? So it can't be, it can't be all coincidence, right? I think there was something in the water during that batch,
During
that
that
all of
batch.
us, yeah, that all of us thought that we'll go down the path of entrepreneurship. But I think at the fundamental of it, right? Um, um, Anyone who comes from IIT, the concepts are very clear, right? Normally, right? And when your concepts are clear, you also have an ability to understand what's the big thing, right? And I think as IITians and IIT Delhi folks, a lot of me and my batchmates actually figured out that for us, the corporate jobs were great places to start from, and great places to build the basic level of security in a Maslow's hierarchy that you need, right? But all of us also realized, for us, the self-actualization is actually building our own business, right? And in today's day and time, and of course, the timing and the fact that India has gone through a digital revolution driven by mobile helped, right? So it's just that we are hyper competitive people. We just want to make it big, and because we are always in that state of mind, we realize what's the big thing, and we all realize that the big thing is to do your own startup. That's it.
That's great. No, excellent. So, Delhi wala boys, I am also from Delhi. So I was reading your reports and publications on social media. So there are three things in common between you and me personally. First of all, we are both are Punjabis,
Yeah.
right? Secondly, we both are from IIT Delhi.
Yeah.
And finally, we are both are teetotalers. So having born and brought up in Punjabi family and not touching any whiskey or scotch or wine, it's like people say, "Are you a real Sikh?" Yeah, I'm a Sikh, but I don't drink.
Yeah.
That's funny. But no, let me ask you, as you reflect your career, exciting career, I should say, do you think of one or two high impact decisions that you would like to change if you were to do it all over again?
No. So as a very, I'm very clear that I won't do anything differently, right? Like it's a hypothetical question always, right? So we haven't yet designed the time machine that we can go back and change
Change
the
something.
consequences of our actions. But having said that, even if the time machine was around, I would not travel on that at all. I'm very clear. In your life, um, you know, you're a summation of hundreds and thousands of decisions you take on a daily basis, right? Uh, uh, and I think it's absolutely clear. There's no machine in the world which works with 100.000% efficiency, right? So every human will have certain decision you will think about slightly more deeper about,
Mhm.
and but as long as directionally you're in the right direction, right? I
Mhm.
don't think any of us should lose sleep over one decision or two decision which you could have done differently, because if you have, maybe if you would have done them differently, maybe they would also wouldn't have worked, right?
Got it.
So my philosophy is, what's gone, right? You can only do things incrementally, right?
Got it.
So if you want to learn from something, learn and apply incrementally. Don't waste your time thinking about the past.
Got it. No, I think fairly, because again, you can't change the past. And I really appreciate the way you come across that, hey, you think you have done the right things. You don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
the life is. Keep on going. And the funda should be clear. The fundamental should be clear. What is the objective should be clear. And then the rest is the history. So in one word, how you will describe yourself and what are your future plans? Take me through your growth targets.
Yeah. No, yeah. See, I think if in one word I were to describe myself, it would be sheer hard work, right? I'm, as an individual, I don't think since fifth grade, right, I would have taken any break, right? Any term exam, any final exam, any competition exam, right? I've been at it, right? I keep telling people one thing very few IITians can understand the nuance of. Uh, I hit a SGPA of 10 in the final
Wow.
semester, right?
Wow. In the
So
final semester, when
in the
people are
final
ready to
semester,
take off,
because in the final semester you're done, right?
you're
Like
done. Campus
either you have
interviews,
a
then
job,
yeah,
or you have a B school entrance, or you have an MS admit,
US.
right?
Yeah.
US admit, right? So one of these three things is done, and like last semester is for just people to chill, right? And I was so focused that in the last semester I hit a 10 SGPA. Now the funny part is I was departmental rank 2, right? When I hit 10 SGPA for 2 hours, I became departmental rank 1 in the final semester, right? Then the departmental rank 1 went to a prof and said, "My life is screwed. Here's this guy who's been after me for 7 semesters. In the eighth semester, he trumps me, right?" Uh, and the prof just gave him 1 grade more so that he could remain DR1, right?
Year one.
Uh,
Oh, wow. That was not
uh,
good for
so
you.
so so yeah, yeah. So but I think it's sheer hard work, right? I think even today, even while I was building Bharat Pay, right? I would just not switch off, right? Like maybe I've slept for 6 hours, but the moment I'll get up and I'll go to sleep when I had seen the report for the day at 12 o'clock, right? So how many transactions did we do? Did we grow over the last or not, right? Like I was so
So focused.
paranoid, right? Uh, in the 1,200 days that I've been running the business, I would want growth each of the day, right? Like I wanted all time daily high to be hit every day, right? And in the morning, I'd be back at office and working and taking decisions and taking calls, right? So I think it's sheer hard work, right? I don't think I'm the smartest guy, right?
Mm.
I genuinely don't think so. I've met a lot of my batchmates who cerebrally are much more endowed. But what I can vouch for is I don't find people who take as much risk as I can, right? Um, handle as much uncertainty as I can, or work as hard, right, to make things possible. So I think for me, hard work is the true definition.
Excellent. No, I think that's a true differentiator for the successful people. The risk of taking, what is the risk if they come out of their comfort zone? A lot
Yes.
of people will not come out.
Yes.
If you have that appetite, if you have that thing to come out, and you will make it, and that's a risk you took, and look where you are. So from the corporate world to the entrepreneurial journey, and because people say, what are you doing, man? You have a good job,
And also,
good salary coming.
in fact, I can tell you, right? Uh, I don't know, other than a friend of mine who runs a jewelry startup, right? Any IITian who would come and say, "I will go and work in a jewelry setup," right? It's
I
like
agree.
it's like, what are you doing, man? Like,
What are you doing?
are you unemployable, or what's happened, or something is gone, right? But my view was, all of us come from middle class families. We don't have business families, right? But if I had to understand how a shopkeeper thinks, in order to build better for him, I have to first become a shopkeeper,
Got it.
right?
You jump into it.
That's
Yeah,
the reason I
totally.
went to Karol Bagh and worked in a jeweler's setup, because until unless you get into that banya mentality of a shopkeeper,
You'll
how are
understand.
you going to build what is relevant for him? And that 6 months that I spent in Karol Bagh, right? It teaches you how the shopkeeper has to fight for parking, for keeping his shutter open, how he's to handle customers, suppliers, and that opens up your mind on what the problem is and what the solution therefore has to be.
Right, right. One thing, after IIT and IIM, going and working for a jeweler, it needs guts. It needs
Exactly.
certainty. Like, hey, you have the power to change the
Guts,
world.
and you have to understand, right? At that point of time, people had written me off. They said, like, he's gone cuckoo, right? Like something's not right in his head,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. That's why you are the person who is known to, who aims to solve real problem and create real value.
Yeah.
That's the reason you created the groundbreaking financial solutions for the Indian economy. I mean, how many people in the past have done that? to create the complete new breaking financial solution. That was a key thing in your career, and I think you have proven it. No, that's hats off to you and kudos. So again, just on a lighter note, describe a day where you have just had the greatest working day of your life.
Yeah.
You were driving home and you're on cloud nine.
Yeah.
What was it about that working day that makes you happy? I know your answer, it might be every day is good for me, but just one day which you think, man, this is wow, this was a great.
So I think the one day which is clearly etched in my mind, right, was the day we as BharatPe got the banking license, right? See, even when I started BharatPe, right, I used to tell people eventually I want to be a bank, right? Now that's become a fashion to say because then you can claim yourself to be a neo bank and get fancy valuation. But I never said I wanted to be a neo bank, right? I was always clear I wanted to be a bank, right? Which meant getting a banking license. Now, the good thing about the Indian economy now is that uh, folks like us, right, who don't come from business families or who are not coming from bureaucratic families, right, without any connection, without anyone backing us, can go ahead and stake a claim to get a banking license with great institutions like an RBI, right?
Wow.
So that I remember, when the license, I got the news of the license. I was actually in UK. I was staying at a friend's place, right, and I was using his office to do my calls, and I got that message that we've got the license, right? And it was like I was on cloud nine, genuinely on cloud nine that day because uh, a it's the only license given in the last 6 years. Consider a country like India. Last 6 years is the only small finance bank license given. It's the first license given to a fintech.
Excellent.
Right? So for me, it was sort of a culmination of what you had wanted to achieve always, right? What was like the North Star, right? Like where you were walking towards, right? So for me, that day is clearly the best day.
Excellent. No, I was reading somewhere that what is common between a video game first developed by Electronic Arts in 1994, a Hollywood adaptation in 2014, and the Indian startup BharatPe? The answer was need for speed.
Yeah.
So I think you firmly believe that the pace of growth is not non-negotiable.
Correct.
So you have to have a speed what you're doing. No, that's a mantra for success, I believe. Again, same Amazon is working on the same principles, speed. So that's a thing. So have you ever done any projects that you hated from the start but knew it would get you a lot of attention?
Uh, Not really. You know, uh, I think I've mostly loved everything I've done, right? Like, it's very hard for me to think through something I really hated, right? And when I've hated things, I've moved on, right? So to the next big thing, right? So, not really. I'm not big on the hate part. Yeah, just remember the good parts, maybe.
No, we see in the Shark Tank, if you don't like anything, you are blunt. Yeah, I don't like
No,
it,
so
move
I
on.
think yeah, so that's a trait, right? See, here's the thing. I have zero baggage, right? When I come home and sleep, right? I sleep very light. My mind is very clear, right? It's
Right.
because I have this philosophy that I'm going to give feedback instantly, right? And in India, it's culturally very difficult to do because
Correct.
we have we are brought up being told that be political, be diplomatic, right? Don't burn your bridges, right? Even if you have to say no, do the Indian nod, don't do the American nod, right? Of saying no. So the guy feels, oh yeah, maybe he's saying a no, but and somewhere in his heart there is a yes, right?
Yes.
But I'm not that, right? I'm like, I am very decisive, right?
Yeah.
So if something is brought to me, if I like it, I will back it up despite repeated failures, because if there's conviction, there's conviction, right? I'm not pushing anyone under the bus ever for any decision we take collectively. But if I don't like it, I'm equally vocal saying I don't like it. Now that's a very American trait in that sense, saying I say no instantly, right? And the other day also was telling someone, right? Uh, when someone hears a no, right, that's the end of the conversation, right? When someone hears a yes, that's where the conversation starts
Gosh.
with that guy, right? So a lot of people don't want to say no because they don't want to end the conversation,
They keep
right?
on, they want to, the thread should be there.
Yeah.
They don't want
See,
to break
I,
the
I
thread.
have I have gone around and I would have personally for BharatPe pitched to more than 200 investors, unique investors across the globe, right? 200. And I can barely recount two people who said no, doesn't work for me, right? All the investors would say, oh yeah, looks great. Can you tell me, give me this data? Can we speak in 3 months? Can we speak in 2 years, right? Like everyone is pushing the can down the road, right? No one is, stomping on it and saying, boss, this is not a can I want to play with, right?
That's it.
So in that sense, yeah, I'm a bit different. I like to say no. And even on Shark Tank, I was the same, right?
Yeah.
Incidentally, I keep telling people, I have not seen one single cumulative episode of Shark Tank US, right?
Oh, you
So
have not seen.
not seen. In fact, when I was selected for Shark Tank, the director sent me links saying click and watch what Shark Tank US looks like. I didn't even open a single link of that. Well, I was very clear. I didn't want to be an Indian version of a US shark, right?
And US
I just
Shark
wanted to,
Tank, they
yeah,
are
I
really
just wanted to go
sharks.
there and have fun,
Fun.
right? And just be myself, right? So even if you look at Shark Tank, uh, I'm the rawest person in that sense,
Correct.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and the reason for that is because I've not been exposed to what it is to be a shark.
No, it's again, I've been watching Shark Tank in the US. They are the true sharks. Like, and I've seen in Indian Shark Tank, you people advise
Yeah,
do this. Nobody has time to give advice. They are
correct.
here to make money and take to the business to the next level. That's what their motto is, and they work on that. So tell me, Ashneer, what makes you smile and what scares you the most at this stage of life?
Yeah. No, I think see, what makes me smile is growth always, right? I'm always over-indexed on growth, right? I think growth solves hundreds of problems automatically, right? It excites people, it binds people on a common mission, right? It gives you the energy to take on the most difficult of problems, right? So for me, uh, uh, any business, right? It's not even mine, any friend's business, competitor's business, anywhere I see growth, it brings a smile to my face saying, okay, this is progress, right?
Good.
Uh, uh, what I don't like is politics. Like it's like, I'm very clear that if I neither like politics at workplace and politics with investors, nothing of that. It just makes me frown because I think it's non-productive, right? And if one day I have to do politics, then I would rather go to Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha and do it properly,
Right.
not at the place of business, because that's we are there to make money, right? Not anything else.
I got it. No, I think great. So, a lot of IIT alums think of launching their dream boats, but many never take a plunge.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
do you think one is ready to start a company? And a follow up to that is, what are the good reasons one should not start a company?
See, I think IITians have a curse, right? I think we are cursed. All of us are cursed, right? The expectation from an IITian is unrealistic, right? You know, it's a batch of people, right? Everyone is a different individual. Everyone is not there to be a superstar, right? And I think your question specific to when does one take a plunge? My view there is very simple. Anytime you think that your lifestyle mentally is now capped, right? See, all of us come from, I keep telling that all of us come from middle class upbringing,
Families.
right? Irrespective of what your monthly, yearly salary is, irrespective of what your bank balance is, right? There's a mental glass ceiling, right? I keep telling people, even today, right? I have to look at the price of a shirt before buying.
Mm.
That's my mental ceiling, right? It
That's
doesn't matter how much whether it's I can afford it or whether it's worth my time to even look at it. But I will look at it, right? Because that's my upbringing, right? I can't buy anything which is not valued, right? And
That's
I'll probably
in
pick up
our
a shirt.
DNA.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up a shirt which has 80% discount as against a 60%
True.
discount. Right?
No,
Like, I mean,
no harm
that
in
might
that.
just swing my decision.
Yeah.
But my point is, all of us fall into this trap of regular income, right? I think if we really sit back and say, okay, I've earned this much, I've got this in the kitty, this much can earn me this much interest rate, right? I'm letting go of my salary, but it's not like my lifestyle is going to change, or I'm compromising, or doing this at the cost of my family, right? When you are when that question gets answered, then it's a very easy thing, right? Like when your salary stops making any difference to your lifestyle, you're already capped out, is the perfect time to start, right?
Got it.
I think don't start if there's no inner calling, right? I think, as I keep telling you, you'll have batchmates, 10% of your batch might be doing extremely good as entrepreneurs, right? But would still be a 20% of the batch who tried and maybe did not make it that big, right?
True.
So I think don't do it just because, as a person, everyone else was doing it around you, and you just jumped into it under peer pressure, right? I think there has to be an inner calling, right? Like, you need to have that understanding that there'll be a lot of uncertainty, right? And you would need that perseverance. You can't like just start and then in a month start looking for another 1 crore job, salary job, right? So if you're willing to burn the bridges with the corporate world, do it. If you still have a plan B, then you're not ready to start.
That's a good advice. That's a very good advice. Great. So we have seen a lot of crazy times in the last couple of years due to COVID-19, and it has really affected a lot of lives and the professional lives, social lives.
Yes.
So is there any one or two special learning from COVID-19 time that you consider having had a deep impact in shaping your company for the future?
Yeah. No, I think, see, what COVID has taught me is very simply this, right? Whenever you see uncertainty of unprecedented scale, right? What COVID is that, right? Like, no one had seen the whole world shut, flight shut, borders shut, right? The first thing people want to do is flight to safety, right? Saying, oh, I want to sell all my stock, I don't know where the share market is going, blah blah blah, and the world is coming to an end. So I think everyone overreacts, right? I think what I've learned is that people tend to overreact, and people who understand cycles are much more stable, right? And see, the guy who sold all his stock on 1st April 2020, right, is the guy who would be cursing himself, right? Like, because then the boom came and the liquidity came and everything went up. The other thing I would say is that extreme adversity creates extreme opportunities, right?
True.
Someone will be making extremely good money, right? And an opportunity will come, right? So don't like shut yourself at home and sit and say, oh, COVID hai, meko bahar nahi jana, because you might be letting go. For example, my business, right? My business by March 20, for 6 months, the overall market has stagnated on UPI transactions, right? Correct. April 20, lockdown happened, it went down, right? In the next 1 year, it went up 5 times. Wow. Overall market. Right? Wow. The simple thing was, in a scenario where you can't touch currency, digital money became the way to go, right? And therefore, businesses like mine boomed, right? Boomed. Wow. So April 20 looked like the end of the world because shops are closed, no one is stepping out, my transactions have fallen, right? What do I do? But from May 20 till date, right, it's like a secular wave behind you, right, which is taking your business up and up, right? Excellent. So I think, extreme adversity will create extreme opportunities one needs to capture.
Capture.
But you don't have to give a knee-jerk reaction to anything ever.
Got it. Got it. No, I think it's a blessing in disguise, I should say. Like, and definitely you take advantage of the situation, whether the market is going up and down, how you can maneuver your business and make sure it's still in the green zone, not in the red. So last but not the least, what is your advice to the fintech founders in India who dream of building global products company? Or do you have any word of advice for the current IIT students, including how to leverage the Shark Tank platform?
Yes, yeah, I'm shy away from giving advice. I can give you some solution to certain problems, but advice seems like I've figured everything out. I haven't, right? So, at least I haven't figured everything out in my life. So it's it's a slightly pretentious to give advice to other people. My view is that India is going through a great wave, right? Where based on your hard work and your enterprise and using technology, you can build great businesses, right? Which is very different world from previously, where you need to have the right connection, you needed to get the right licenses, you needed to know the right people, and you needed to be comfortable with very bad practices of working, right? Now the new India is very, very different, right? Like if you have the right tech team, if you have the right tech, if you put out the right product out there, the world is your market, right? My only thing to people is solve for India first, right? Like I think
Good.
a lot of Indian entrepreneurs tend to believe Indian solutions can be taken global. I think the Indian problems are deep enough for us not to even think global, right? I think if we truly solve for the Indian problem, the addressable market is not a constraint
Wow.
here, right?
Wow.
So don't get distracted by the idea of going global too early. Just focus on the Indian market, and there's enough juice here.
Excellent. No, excellent advice for the people like sitting outside India, because we have close to 65,000 alumni in the US. And I think it's a fantastic advice. Look at India with a microscope. Don't look at the bigger picture. See how you can solve the grassroots problems with the technology, what you have, or the skill set you have. That's fantastic. So, Ashneer, thank you very much for your time. On behalf of PanIIT USA, I would like to thank you for sharing your journey, ideas, engaging with the startups, risk-taking strategies, and which will help all of us in shaping the post-COVID era, I should say. And definitely would like you to participate in the PanIIT USA initiative, what we are doing. We are doing a lot of startups here. We are doing a lot of things. So maybe we'll reach out to you for further advice. And I should special thanks to Rajat Gupta, Chairman PanIIT USA, and Ron Gupta, President PanIIT USA, for their dedication and support for these type of initiatives and eagerness to take this alumni organization to the next level. So once again, it was my pleasure to have you with us today, and hope you will return to visit with us again in the future.
Perfect. Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.